Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for Learning Left-Handed. What episode are we up to, John? Well, quite easy. We're up to number 83. Can you believe it? You people are still listening. I love it. We're getting so close to the 3,000 listeners a week. I'm so proud of all of you for sharing it to each and every one of your friends. I want you to go out there, make some more friends and share it with them, okay? That would be so helpful to me. Okay, let us begin. What are we talking about today, John? Well, let's hear it. We're talking about three separate things. We are talking about The Art of War, Part 11. Can you believe it? You guys are loving this. I get so many nice comments about how much you are using the stuff in real life. Who would have thought? Well, I did. That's why I started talking about it. After that, we have some Ultimate Side Hustles, Part 6. I assume there's going to be a lot more of them. You guys are really... The love of that series is really starting to grow. We had a little tepid start, but hey, I know you guys believe in me, and you're listening, which I love. And finally, we also have Self-Discipline Mastery. We are running low on them, admittedly, but it's part 10, and you guys seem to bloody love it. So, without further ado, as the great man once said, let us begin with The Art of War, Part 11. Now, these are basically going to be very self-obvious, and I hope that you can use them in real life. Let us begin. Stay away from cliffs. Yep, that's it, and that's been the podcast today. Now, we have 3 more points after than that, but that's quite obvious if you're trying to run an army. Stay away from cliffs because some idiot will jump off, be shoved. You never know. When soldiers stand holding on their spears, they are hungry, They're using it as a weight, as a walking stick, effectively. If water carries the drink away very fast, it means your army is thirsty. AKA, if your water carriers drink first, your army is thirsty, because they are worried they won't get any. Which is, as a water carrier, your whole, principle is so you get to drink as well. It's not really worth having the money when there is no drink to be had. Next, if offered an advantage and they don't take it, it means they are exhausted. So what we can judge by this is you can look at other people's armies or people in general. If they're leaning on stuff, they're tired. If they've offered an advantage and don't take it, they're exhausted. And if the water carriers drink first, the army's thirsty, man. It's not exactly the most useful in life, some of these, but I know you guys will find a use for it. I believe in you. I find them quite interesting myself, but I've never, run an army, yet. Anyway, to the great Learning Left-Handed powers. Join together. Yeah, that ain't going to happen. Anyway, let's move on to our next thing, shall we? Which is Ultimate Side Hustles number 6. So, what's been your favourite side hustle so far? Or maybe it'll be this week's. We shall see. This is a meal delivery. For those who don't know about this series, is we find you little side hustles you can do that'll take you a couple hours a day, and you can get some more extra money from them. Now, does this mean you're going to make millions doing this? No. But this is for the people who have a couple extra hours in the evening who, just want to earn a little bit more money. First things first, meal delivery. So the service provided is you bring meals, aka like Deliveroo and Just Eat, all of those types of things. What can I say? The only experience you need and skills is something to drive, the ability to drive or cycle or motorcycle. Or as I saw the other day, a guy was driving a tuk-tuk. Or do you ride a tuk-tuk? That is the question. So the special equipment you shall need is quite self-evident. It is a blinking vehicle. Unless you live on a very popular road, then I suppose you could do the old run service, I suppose. Which I don't recommend. Admittedly, you'd get through a lot of steps, but who really wants to do that? Exactly. Okay, after that, you got to talk about where you're going to find leads to do this. Well, that's quite easy, as we said before. Uber Eats, always looking for people. DoorDash as well. Seamless is quite a good one. Not very big in Europe yet, so I've been told, but hey-ho, keep your eyes peeled on that. And it's Grubhub, which is quite good as well. The pay range isn't amazing. It really depends. You get probably a couple of quid a go. That's what we've been to. Other people have quoted they get 16 quid an hour, but that's really up to your luck and how. First of all, how many deliverers are near you and what deliveries are available. I suppose it's a very mixed thing. Like some days you could walk home with 100 quid, other days 300 quid. It all depends on your luck, I suppose, with that one. Okay, let's go on to our next one, shall we? Our next part of the series, since you guys have been loving this series, we are continuing on with Self-Discipline Mastery, which has split opinions in my office, but let's just say we won. And I need new writers. No, I'm joking. I didn't throw them away. They're a great set of people. I couldn't be here without their help. Exactly. Okay, let's continue on. Self-discipline mastery. What this basically means is that you know what's going to give you a push. And now, some days it's not going to be what you want. Some days you're going to hate every breathing second of it. But you're going to get up and keep moving forward. Some famous person said that. I don't know who. Okay. This is what we're going to talk about now. Develop a clear plan of action. Be decisive and commit fully. Now, for me, this is weight loss. I have been trying several different ways of losing weight. There is no easy way, I can assure you. If there is, no one's told me about it. And if that's because people have forgotten about it, I'm not going to be impressed. But anyway, you got to have your cause. Like making money. For example, we seem to talk about money a heck of a lot on this podcast, which explains why most of the people listen to this are men. So thank you for that. Not that. Personally, I just want you guys to share it wherever you can. Okay. Be clear as possible as to what exactly you are trying to be disciplined about. As I said before, you can be disciplined about work. You can be disciplined about your new passion, ergo table tennis, because you want to become the greatest that there ever was. Collect all the table tennis rackets, I suppose. You get the idea. What you got to do first is you need to focus on what type of work you're having issues with. So once you realize what you're having issues with, you can then work backwards. How can I solve this problem? And between you and me, the more specific you are with this and the least vague you can possibly be would make life easier for everyone. And what you're going to have to do is, well, as I said, the more specific you are, the more progress you're going to get. What most people do is I use the 80-20 split, which, for those who don't know, the 80-20 split is when basically the 20% of what you do actually produces 80% of your result. And the rest of your time, you're just worrying about the other 20. Personally, drop the other 20. Because once you realise that, difficult customers, for example, and if you're spending so much time on them and still making a fraction of it, you don't need them. You really don't. And life's too short to be dealing with stuff like that. Other people use the Pareto principle. I'm not too... I'll put it this way. It's not the one I use. I use the 80-20, but I've been asked to mention it, so I will mention it. The Pareto principle is quite useful as well. Check that out. I highly recommend that you do. And now, a little shout out to everyone out there. Just a reminder, if you put in the White Viking on YouTube, you'll find some of our newer episodes and one of my other projects On My Land, where I have a trail cam set up in my garden and I film all the animals going through it. I hope you guys have a look at it. Anyway, A big thank you to everyone who listens to my podcast. It has been a pleasure continuing to do this every single week. It is a beautiful sunny day when I'm recording this. So, obviously, I'm recording this in June. No. Anyway, as always, everyone, thank you, and I do mean this, thank you for learning left-handed.